Chair, thanks, the gentleman. Gentleman yields back. We are pleased to welcome Mr. Cuellar as the representative of the ranking member of the Milcon VA Subcommittee and the Appropriations Committee. And be happy to recognize you for any thoughts that you may have on your bill.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member McGovern, also and members of the Rules Committee. Thank you for allowing me to testify in place of the Subcommittee Ranking Member Wasserman Schultz, whose flight was delayed on this particular bill, H.R. 4366. I sit as the Ranking Member for Homeland, so if y'all have any questions on Homeland, I'll be happy to answer that at a later time. But traditionally, the Milcom VA bill is one of the few appropriations bills that has had bipartisan support because generally the bill is written, no matter who's in the majority, with an eye toward a shared goal of supporting our servicemen, veterans, and their families. Unfortunately, this is not the case this year. The Milcom VA is riddled with riders. The VA is a place where veterans should feel welcome, included, and cared for, and all veterans means all veterans. On the Milcom side, the bill cuts funding for service members and their families by $1.5 billion compared to the enacted level compared to current services. In fact, this bill is $200 million lower after the full committee markup than when it was first introduced. Even after the agreement with the President Biden was signed into law, Republicans went back and they decided to cut more. We have a recruitment, we have a retention problems, and Republicans are cutting funds for the military construction. We have a major quality of life issues with our service members, and the majority are cutting funding for military construction. The majority cut dedicated funding for the PFSA remediation and cleanup, which is a cut of $200 million from the current level, and the dedicated funding for military installation for Resilience Project, which is a cut of $90 million from the current levels. This is an enormous need for funds to clean up the PFSA contamination, which the committee previously provided to ensure continued progress in remediating contamination at the closed bases and to minimize the impact for those surrounding communities. Furthermore, neglecting to continue investing to protect our installations from extreme weather is a national security risk. We all know how extremely costly disaster assistance funding is, and the threat it poses to military readiness. Cutting military construction by $1.5 billion slows our historically bipartisan efforts to reduce the infrastructure backlog to strengthen our national security and to improve the quality of life of our service members and their families. We're backtracking on the commitment that we made to our service members and their families. More broadly, veterans rely on programs throughout the federal government. All too often, disinvestments are neglected in the bills and under the levels that Speaker McCarthy negotiated and passed with a bipartisan majority of both the House and the Senate. For these reasons, we oppose this bill. And I know my good friend, Judge Carter, and the ranking member, Wasserman Schultz, and all the appropriations, we understand one thing. This is only the beginning. This is not the end of the process. So there's a process where we're going to see this change. So this is only a snapshot of what we're looking at. At the end of the day, we will see something, by that I mean at the end of the year, but at the end of the day, we will see something where we will have a bipartisan approach to this. And with that, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.